What is up, guys? This is AdmiralNewkirk bringing you another cast, this one between Naugram and E.G. Demuslim. For those of you who don't know him, Demuslim was one of the two best Terrans in beta. The other one, of course, being Morrow, the two best foreigner Terrans, of course. And he was probably maybe a top 5 European player up until last March, where out with another pro gamer, he shattered an arm in his, I think it was right hand. What happened then was you can't really be a pro gamer with a broken arm. So it's the first ever, in my opinion at least, known instance of an esports injury. Someone who broke an arm and had to be placed on the DL, as it were. So it's really cool to see Demuslim again. He's a really good player, probably the best British pro gamer, a little bit like Phoenix is a Brazilian pro gamer. Demuslim is the only, at least that I can think of, notable British pro gamer. I don't know much about Naugram, but as always with these replays, if they're good enough to be playing Demuslim, they're good enough to be cast. In fact, all of you guys are good enough to be cast. On that note, some of you, by which I mean like the 3 of you that watch, may have seen the Nanad cast. That could be you. If you have a cool game, just send it to me at alexnewkirk61@yahoo.com. Also, if you look to the left in the channel page, you can see the email that's necessary to send me replays. If they're cool, I cast all of them. If they're cool, I post them. And I think that too often people get hung up on the fact that you can only cast programs. I know that some of the most entertaining things I've ever seen have been from watching my friends play in Bronze. In order to be impressed, in order for the game to be really exciting, all it needs to be is close. And watching someone play really, really badly, so even if you are incredibly Bronze, that doesn't matter. That's still really entertaining to watch. Now, I might not be able to do as much analysis about it, but I can be incredibly sarcastic, and I know I like to do that. So, remember guys, send me your replays. Comment please, and tell me any pro gamer you like to cast, or you would like me to cast. So far I've just been going with my own favorites, but if you guys have an opinion, I know Huck's pretty popular, and of course Jinro's pretty good. Let's all also join together and hope that Jinro can get his ass back into gear. He was he was the 7th best StarCraft 2 player in the world according to Team Liquid in April. And then he just had a precipitous fall. I don't know what happened. I don't think Jinro knows what happens. Probably a metagame shift. But let's hope. Let's hope that Jinro can pull through and get back to the GSL semi-finalist form. So, let's actually get into the game. No production tab open, because herp-de-derp. We see Demuslim going for 3 barracks right off the bat. Has yet to get a gas. Doing an interesting little wall-off play. This reminds me a lot of like Metalopolis. This is the kind of map where you see that sort of wall-off, this SimCity style. I don't know how I feel about this on Shakuris, because Shakuris has a decent-sized ramp, not impossible to wall off, especially with a couple of barracks. We see decent spread of Zerglings by Naugram, and this is something I think every Zerg should do. Sorry if you hear that jangling in the background, that's my dog. Every Zerg should do, with your first queen, if you're sending her to your natural, lay down a creep tumor. You don't need that larva injected. And really, you can't actually support that much larva unless you're making Zerglings. And I doubt you're going to make Zerglings because you went for a fast expand. So oh, this is so cool. Do you guys know that creep kills plants? We could watch these like already dead looking spike trees die from the creep when it eventually touches there. At any rate, investing that energy in a creep tumor is so much more valuable if your opponent comes in with something like Banshee Harass, or maybe a Thor drop, something along those lines. Speaking of Thor drops, that's what Demuslim was known for in beta. He was the first person to figure out, or not the first person to figure out, but the first person to effectively use Thor's drops versus Zerg, and he was quite good at it. I believe there was a game I saw really early on in StarCraft 2 where Demuslim got, I think it was 38 drone kills with 1 Thor, which was awesome. Thor drops, also for all you Terrans out there, do them a lot. They're awesome, and they're so annoying, because Thors are like Reavers, except they don't have Scarabs, which were awful, and they can just sit there and they 2-shot drones, they one-shot drones, 2-shot queens, and the only thing that really deals with it is the thing that Thor's counter mutas. So hopefully you can meta your opponent into not building mutas. Great creep spread here coming from Naugram, seeing as we're only 7 minutes in the game. They're down a Baneling Nest. Looks like we're going to be seeing lots of Marines early on from Demuslim. Not a bad choice. I mean, after all, Marines are a good unit. And it appears there are 17 of them going to a picnic. I, for one, am excited about the Marine picnic. There's going to be a 3-legged race, as well as a Hydralisk cookout, and there may also be some marksmanship exercises. A lot of unspeeded Zerglings. This isn't exactly Spanishiwa style. It's more haven't gotten speed yet, worried about dying sort of style. The Marine picnic, so far, a raving success. Yes, raving mad. Great surround there by the Zerglings. Surrounds are what make Zerglings cost effective, but at the same time, the stutter step micro is terrific. Gets the queens off creep. He could snipe one of these, that would be huge. Sniping queens is one of the best ways to deal with the Zerg. Don't kill their drones, kill their queens. That is equally dependent on larva. Alright, and therefore, by that same logic, Zergs make extra queens. Most of the time, you're not upgrading from the hatch anyway, and therefore you have the time to do it. At 150 minerals, especially if you're going, you know, like Banelings or Mutas or Infestors or Roaches, you always float mins, you very rarely float gas. And queens are a great way to deal with that. They're awesome units, they're good defensive. Think of them as a 150, think of them as a cannon. They're a mobile cannon that can heal you, because that's basically what they are. They're just a photon cannon. So we see Demuslim just now getting 2 factories. He has his combat shield on the way. I think if you're feeling slightly on the back foot, especially if you want to use your Marines defensively, maybe use them to secure a 3rd, combat shield is better, because it allows your Marines to stay alive longer. Stim is an offensive upgrade, combat shield is a defensive upgrade. It allows you to spread your Marines a little thinner, and it allows your Marines to just last that one little bit longer, and it makes the defensive advantage that much better. If you're going out for a specific timing push, go with Stim. If you want to keep your Marines back home, use them to secure a 3rd, have them work really well with your tanks, then go with a Marine shield. We see Demuslim getting 2 engineering bays. Good job. I love this kind of play. We see Naugram going, fuck it, he's not going to attack me, I'm going to take an expansion. Oh yeah, that's what I like. Decent creep spread, but at the same time, it should be a little bit better, especially because he's been left alone for this long. We see Evo Chamber Infestation Pit. I actually like these play. Both these players are playing tip-top right now. This Overseer good. If I were him, I'd drop a Changeling, or I would corrupt these 2 buildings. Corruption is, or Contaminate, pardon. Contaminate is a spell that so few people use. I just want to see it more. There's a Day 9 Daily entirely about Contaminate that was really only worth watching, because Day 9 told about his hilarious romantic escapades, which were, by the way, awesomely funny. Contaminate is a cool idea that just never seems to get into that much practice, because Overseers are kind of trash. They die pretty fast, and a lot of Zergs just don't remember to do it, and we've seen that so many Zergs are able to succeed without Contaminate that I doubt we're going to see Contaminate come into play. But for all we know, Contaminate could be one of those things that 5 years from now, when the game's metagame is kind of figured out, Contaminate could be one of those things that we are all amazed that people didn't do earlier. Or how could we have been such idiots and not used this? It could be a hilarious idea that someone would go Marine tank versus Zerg. Don't they know how easy it is that Contaminate counters that? We were so newbie and naive back then. Macro hatch going up. I like this because Zergs are finding out that on 3 base with oh, that's bad. That is very bad. I've not been looking at the harvester count. This is shocking, and this is on account of Demuslim's excellent, consistent pressure. I would have liked to see sort of more of an Idris style and good preemptive splitting, but at the same time leading with the Zerglings, that really sort of punishes you for preemptive splitting, and beautiful fungal growth there, locking down a lot of the Marines, but at the same time you have 2 Marines or 2 tanks and 10 Marines still surviving. That is a slightly scary force, and a good drop over there. The medevac escaping with only 14 health. Meanwhile, back into Muslim space, he's throwing down another command center. His 2-2 or his 1-1 upgrades are about to finish. His armory's about to finish. He's continuing to produce tanks, and Demuslim at the same time still continues to out-harvest Zerg. He's scanning to kill off creep tumors, always a good investment. I would say about as worth it as a mule. Trying to run back to the cover of these tanks, but at the same time, there's enough Zerglings here that should be able to take care of this. But a final reinforcement tank along with a bunch of Marines, I don't think this can hold. He needs more fungal growths. Does he have the pathogen glands upgrade? He does. That means he can That means he can hatch infestors with enough to fungal growth right off the bat. He also should be investing in this. At the same time, I don't actually blame him not to, because he is investing all his gas into these banelings and these infestors. He's floating a lot of minerals, so therefore I'd like to see him build a few more queens. Wow, I'm talking very quickly. Alright, meanwhile, back into Muslim's base. We see 3 more barracks going down, along with another factory. I'd like to see him start to get maybe more of a power unit beyond the tanks and marines. Tanks and marines are, of course, oh, nice. I very much like this position Demuslim's putting himself in. Tanks, of course, are probably the most positioning heavy unit in the game. If you can get tanks on, say, the cliff on Metalopolis, or pardon me, not Metalopolis. Oh, beautiful banelings. Right there, barely even wasting themselves on the tanks. In fact, I don't even think a baneling killed a tank. That was awesome. Great job, Naugram. But at the same time, he has a great resource situation, and the supplies are fairly even. But look at that. The Terran is ahead on drones. Wow, that is... I don't like to see that kind of boring thing. 25 Marines, 4 tanks versus... Interesting. Uninteresting. Decent-sized worker transfer. Moving out. Something I've been experimenting with lately that I think might be a little bit better is instead of transferring like 8 workers from your initial expansion and then just splitting the rally points, doing 4 workers from your initial expansion, then putting both rally points down there. I'm interested to see how it happens, because it does get your second base saturated way faster, and it keeps your first slightly more saturated. But I'm interested to see how much the lost time of your SPVs transferring cost you. I wish somebody could set up an algorithm to figure that out. Fungal growths in this situation are so good. What Naugram needs to do is Naugram needs to start getting up hive tech. He appears to be throwing down a hatch. He's taking his 4th base. Let's look at his upgrades, because that's always indicative of the strength or the quality of the situation he's in. His upgrades are doing better than Demuslim's. Demuslim appears to be investing his gas almost primarily in tanks, or exclusively, pardon. He has a very much... I am one who believes that siege tanks spread out with perhaps a tank's amount of distance between them, and in a phalanx like this is the best way for them to be, because it does allow them to get Zergling surrounds, but at the same time that way they won't splash damage each other, and therefore Zergling engagements. I feel like 6 Zerglings can deal a certain amount of damage to a tank, but it's not as much as tanks can deal to other tanks, because of course tanks deal 55 damage to other tanks. That was so cool watching those Marines explode. It's kind of a gruesome death if you think about it. Back into, Naugram's base, he's throwing up a Spire. He appears to be going for that infamous, or at least now infamous, Broodlord Infestor Corruptor Ball. I personally don't think it's that difficult, but that's because I'm only in Diamond, and that's also because I use Ghosts. But I think for the pros, it is kind of hard to handle when you have someone who is just as good at micro as you. He's getting up that Greater Spire. The time for Demuslim to push is now. He's looking at an absolutely great drop. Picks him up and he should put him on the high ground, but fungal growthing the medevacs, he's going to lose them. Drop the Marines, Demuslim. But at the same time, Demuslim pushing into the middle. He does not make anything but Marines, tanks, and SCVs this entire game. This shows you how awesome this composition is. But flanking it from all sides, neuroparasiting the other tanks. Is this going to be enough to hold? No! Wow! That was incredibly one-sided. Demuslim actually leaves with more supply, but these 8 infestors, or 7, pardon. These 7 infestors are going to be absolutely crucial in the coming minutes. We see Demuslim switching over to Ghost production. I like this a lot. He is afraid of this composition of Broodlord, Corruptor, Infestor. He has a huge drop of 16 Marines. This is all of his previously existing supply advantage moving up into the north to try to kill this base. These infestors being bold, moving out to the center of the map. We are cool infestors. We don't care if you have guns that shoot us. We're just going to spit on you and kill you that way. He's doing a good carpet bombing there, trying to kill some overlords, but I doubt it will actually do that much considering the fact that he's not even close to supply max. Doing some great micro here with a few key stims. He could take down the hatch. And the hatch falls. Meanwhile, Demuslim continuing to mass up Marines, Ghosts, and Vikings. He appears to be going for the purely shoot ground and up sort of. Yes, shoots both on the ground and up into the air. Which I actually think there are 2 specifics to a unit's